Hello, friends. This is John Klein III of episode 220 of Shadow and Flame of Magic, your premier Kitty Pryde Lockheed and Magic podcast. Today, we're going to review Ultimate X-Men Volume 1, 44. It's going to be our last 44th issue until the end of the year. And then we're going to spoil the heck out of X-Men United 1, Magik and Colossus 2, Storms, Earth's Mightiest Mutant 2, and then very quickly, Logan, Black, White, and Blood 3, Spider-Man, Meals to Astonish, The End 2099 and Hulk Smash Everything. So let's get into it. So Ultimate X-Men Volume 1, 44. I own a fine copy of it, though I couldn't tell anything that made it not look near mint, but I don't work at Mile High Comics. Um, Before we start, there's an ad for Alias, the video game, which I did not know existed. Um, and if you want, you can follow me along on both YouTube and TikTok on my accounts, JackalsIII, as if you want to just visually follow them. This comic came out in June 2004. The cast is Charles Xavier, Professor X, Scott Summers, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Marvel Girl, Aurora Monroe, Storm, Logan, Wolverine, Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, Hank McCoy, Beast, and Warren Worthington III, Angel. This is New Mutants Part 5. Brian Michael Bendis wrote the story. David Finch's pencils. Danny Miki inks. Colors by Frank De Armada. Letters Chris Eliopoulos. Assistant editor Nick Lowe. Editor Ralph Macchio. Editor-in-chief Joe Quesada. And publisher Dan Buckley. We get a handy little recap page. Professor Xavier brought them together to bridge the gap between humanity and those born with strange and amazing powers. Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Storm, Iceman, Beast, Colossus, and Wolverine. They are the X-Men, soldiers for Xavier's war to bring peace between man and mutant. Previously, in Ultimate X-Men, the X-Men have gone public in an attempt to carry their pro-mutant human relations messages forward. They now fall under the jurisdiction of U.S. security leader Nick Fury. Though Professor Xavier and Fury are both after the same things, the relationship has been tedious at best. Because some of Xavier's past actions regarding Magneto and his telepathic powers, the President of the United States wants to distance himself from Xavier and the X-Men. In order to create this distance, the president has hired Emma Frost, a former student of Xavier's, to create a new mutant team better assigned with U.S. interests. Align. Some other government insiders with anti-mutant views think this is a terrible step to take, trying the administration even closer to mutants, and plan to take action to stop it. Nick Fury has just arrived at the X-Mansion. But before we get to that, issue opens up with Wolverine and Angel during a danger room sequence. Angel is not ready for a confrontation, and Logan's not willing to just fight a guy who's just going to stand still. And then we cut to the Fury Xavier conversation. They're just having trust issues and talking about it. There's a Daredevil video game that never came out that I would have loved to buy. I'm trying to see what systems it was supposed to be. Just for next generation console systems. Which I imagine, we just look at the Alias ad. So that would have been for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Um, and David Finch is just like, he knows how to draw a page of comics. Maybe even multiple pages. And Xavier's having to recognize he's done some wrong, but Fury's also like there's just mistrust, and so everyone's making decisions out of fear. And then we get to the president's big announcement, and we're going to introduce the president's official team, which is pretty cool up top. We have Emma Frost, Havoc, Polaris, Dazzler, and Beast. Fun artistic choice. I remember Bendis commenting this in like Wizard magazine about how to make these comics timeless, They always try to cover the face, but you can almost always tell who the president was at the time. And then in the crowd, we get to the reason why I kept this in my collection. We get Kitty Pryde, the X-Men's Ultimate Shadow Cat. And some guy next to Kitty saying, "Oh, dude, you guys, the X-Men, you guys, why aren't you up there?" And Kitty shoots him a classic Kitty disdain look. "Just think you guys are awesome, is all." And that gets a little smile from her, which is nice. "What is that?" And then big up close on his big eyeball. And then we turn the page, and the set notes have arrived. And that's never what you want at a press conference. And even the president seems surprised by it. Here you can. Oh no, I dropped my book, everybody. Which, if you're on watching on YouTube, not great. Uh, I lost my spot. So as Xavier starts shouting, everyone keeps trying to do something. Beast gets blasted in the back. Probably won't see him again for until the rest of the issue. And so Angel flies Logan up to the top to attack from above because that's something Angel can assist in a battle. I didn't notice this until reading it today, but we get Kitty Pryde for a bonus panel because on Sundays I put the pure Kitty Pryde pages up on Sunday morning, and so nice to make sure that's current. The Cyclops shoots them in the Sentinel in the foot. And then everyone pretty much has big old shock faces as we get to the dramatic page reveal. Ultimate Beast is no good skis. Like, that's not what you want. And this was the death of Beast, ultimately. And there's some letters here. Um, Lindsay Douglas of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Patrick Guashino, and Nicholas from Sierra Vista, Arizona. Hey, Arizona represent. Uh, Hubert Tyrell from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's Ric Flair country. Except every time, and I've met like six people from North Carolina, and every time they say they're North, I'm like, "Hey, Ric Flair country," and they never know Ric Flair. I'm like, I just assume there's museums to Ric Flair all throughout North Carolina, but I don't know. Adam Weinstein, Craig Yoshiara from Atlanta, Georgia, and then Aim and Eric sent a letter. And yeah, so next issue, New Mutants Conclusion, which I'm pretty sure I have. And we will review next year. And back cover ads for Thomas Jane, The Punisher, which I really like that movie. So I imagine most people do, right? Like, I don't know if people are like, if it's not, I mean, it's got to be one of the four Punisher movies. I feel like it's got to be top four for sure, right? Um, all right, so here we go. X-Men United. I was so excited for this comic. I love this issue so much. It just feels like a continuation of Exceptional X-Men, but on a larger scale. Issue opens with Emma Frost inviting everyone to Gray Matter Lane. We get a look at some of the mutants Emma invited: Gabby Kinney, Storm, 70s Beast, Gambit, Vulcan, maybe? Jitter, Jubilee, Jamie Madrox, Oya, Shark Girl, who I love to see, Bishop, and Magneto. Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler are talking, which I miss these two together so much. She's explaining all the virtues of Gray Matter Lane. I spotted Calicchio and Calico. It's named after the cat, right? For some reason. And Ember walking around. We get Magic for one panel that she appears in. Emma explains the goal of Gray Matter Lane. Prodigy's the Dean of Colloquium, which is a nice continuation of his NYX plotline. Oh, excuse me. Kitty missed out on most of Emma's speech, and Bobby gives her a playful hard time about it. These two are always fun together. Cyclops has a real jerk moment here as he's afraid of this many mutants being gathered together. It is not reassuring that this entire exercise powered by Mr. Sinister's technology. Even though Emma and Axel have worked out all the kinks of the technology, this is the part that does feel like we're already building in the self-destruction of this concept. If they have to cancel the book early, this is how they're going to do it. I do love and appreciate Kitty standing up to Scott. He's not her leader anymore. They're equals. I really like that Scott left the room and Kitty followed him out. She was not done talking to him. We get the new danger room, which is awkward now. There's an evil danger room. Well, there's the robotic danger, but also the McKay danger room, and now this danger room. There's just some branding confusion. Anna Malia and Ben Liu from X-Men are being trained with the students, which the awkwardness of their age differences, them being practical adults and them being teenagers, is addressed pretty quickly. They both do need training, and clearly Cyclops isn't putting in the time. Are we supposed to know Dyrad, Flourish, Lulu, and Garura? They seem new to me. Wolfer we know from the Fall of X and Kate Pryde talking to him on Araco. Lulu's also from Araco. I did look it up, and Dryad first appeared in New X-Men Volume 2, Issue 1. Flourish first appeared in Storm Volume 3, Number 1 from 2014. Lulu first appeared in X-Men Red Volume 2, 6. Garora first appeared in Marvel Voices Pride 2021. She's the one who was dating Karma. I just didn't recognize her hero code name. It's a nice mix of eras here. I like how they have New Mutants inspired uniforms from the third volume where the X goes past their chests and onto their thighs. The Wolverines are teaching them. Lolo cuts Animalia with a knife, and the blood causes Wolf Club to just lose it. He's full berserk mode here. I do like how Bronze has a higher level of respect here, so she's one of Emma's gals. I just love that we get the exceptional students together, Melee, Axel, Bronze, and Riff. Their mornings could have started off nicer today. We're introduced to the new Cerebro. It's an empathy engine. A cool name is probably incoming. It can detect mutants who have levels of unrest, depression, or isolation. It detects a French mutant who is on the Luciano Vecchio variant cover that I bought. I'm getting 4 covers to this issue. Mao is her name, or maybe it's short for something. Melee gives her an invitation. Mao has a white patch of hair against otherwise black hair. She also has a purple tail. I mean, I'm intrigued by this new character. Bronze welcomes her to Gray Matter Lane. So everyone has a role here. Axel's machine detects a new mutant. Rift opens a rift. Melee goes out. Bronze welcomes them in. Like, I like that. Bronze provides her full name, Mariama LaChance. Maybe Mao's hair is black up top and mostly white in the back. She has a very cute white cat plushie. Sometime later, Axo's definitely not moping. I like that we get a continuation of his friendship with Sophie that we first saw in Hellfire Gala. Honestly, this comic just feels like the natural progression of everything that's come before it. It also has this nice feeling any mutant can just appear here that I love so much during the Krakoan era. Kitty arrives. She has a special mission for Axo. Sophie's coming along too. Axo's definitely not moping. The Verite headquarters, Chicago, Illinois. Do I love this comic just so much because Kitty's actually starring in it? Yes, I'm a pretty easy guy to please. But how great is it that we're getting a monthly comic with Kitty after not seeing her since November of last year? Verite headquarters is the fake cover company Sinister had that he captured and tortured Axo in. Kitty's looking for parts. Axo doesn't like being back to the place that he was tortured and by Sinister, and I can't blame him. They hear a tapping, and then dramatic page flip, and Kitty Pryde introduces Bronze to Marigold. And we follow the Daily Lockheed account. On Wednesday, they posted the image of Marigold, and the Daily Lockheed subreddit, which I highly recommend people go to, is like the most active that subreddit has ever been. Like they finally had a reason to discuss like a current comic book, and it shows. And there's just a lot of activity there. So she is a female clone of Lockheed. She has a gold splotch between her wings. I imagine Lucky's out in space with his family, so Marigold is who we get to love on Earth. I can only imagine we'll get a scene of Marigold meeting Lockheed at some point. She aggressively flies over to Bronze, but then calms down. Um, Bronze doesn't mean he goes like, "It's okay, Marigold," and then Kitty goes, "Oh, I was gonna name her Martin," which I was like, "What a weird name for a girl." And then so many people online were like, "Oh, it's because Lockheed Martin, the aircraft company," and I was like, "Oh, I never even pieced it together." I was just like, "Oh, her name's Marigold. Here we go." Um, but yeah, I'm confused why we even have this. Like, are they gonna do a big marketing push with a purple dragon, and someone in copyright department was like, "Hey, a purple dragon on the shelf isn't going to do much. We should put like a thing on him to prove." And he's like, "Oh, what about a big yellow spot on the back?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, well that's a new character. Just call it Marigold." And it's like, "All right," but uh, but it does beg the question, was that Lockheed we saw in Exceptional X-Men 10? They rescued him from a test chamber, then went back and discovered Marigold. That must be the sequence of events, but how did they miss her the first time around? They have to have these questions, right? I am worried the Lockheed they found was a devious clone Sinister created to spy on Kitty, but turns out that was Lockheed, and hopefully Marigold isn't a devious clone Sinister created to spy on Kitty. I have some precautions, so I don't want to fall in love, but heck, Marigold is a cat-sized purple dragon-shaped alien. I'm already built to love that type of dragon. I do appreciate she has a physical distinction from Lockheed. I would rather it be something front-facing so we know which is which on a cover. But also, I'm here for Marigold. Oh, and Kitty was going to name her Martin. Um, and I'm not familiar with Marigold. The only one I am familiar, I know about is Mightiest's daughter from Fortnite. But apparently, it's also a flower. Like, sure. Kitty catches up with 70s Beast, who's observing Wolf Club. Maybe the school is based on a emotional prism, is causing some big emotions. The Wolverines are here too. Um, it does seem like so they have a potential evil clone Lockheed inside Gray Malkin and also are using Sinister technology. So it just seems like there's a lot that could go wrong here. The faculty, Morro, Alaska, X-Men headquarters. Glob is asking Cyclops about his reservations about Gray Matter Lane. Ideally, I just learned the name of the school. It just feels very new. Cyclops is very against the school and is burning it down from what we can tell from the final page. It seems like he shouldn't be able to have done that. Someone would have stopped him after making the first blast, right? It's also maybe a mental school, so can you even burn a mental school? I don't know. I think it's an artistic choice to show what he's planning. Cyclops is just being a real jerk here. Um, we are getting Captain America next issue in a fun time travel story involving Melee. Gray Matter Lane's a mental school, and if you physically walk into it, is how I'm understanding it. During the danger room, they mentioned how if you get hurt here, you get hurt there. So that's interesting. We see people walking to white doors. It isn't like a place you think of and then show up in. I think we need to see more of this transition. But it's such a great first issue. When it goes to second printing, they combine the Stefano Cassari cover. I'll just have to buy that. Though I do recognize some people online are, I don't know, it's getting mixed reviews online, but I don't know. I'm an easy Kitty Pryde fan to sell to, so. Um, brr, 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 brr. Magic and Colossus 2. A real shame this came out the same week as X-Men United, as it would have won any other week for me. Lake Belasco, Russia. Lynn. Ilyana and Peter are fishing with their father. Peter isn't very good at it, and Ilyana wants a turn. She says he's being mean and he starts crying, so they have always been this way. I like her father calling her sunshine, a nice contrast to Piotr's snowflake. Lake Baikal, Russia. Now, Magik explains to Colossus why they can't just teleport. Magik is tracking a magical signature of whoever is Lady Midday's boss. I could have gone an entire issue just these two on the train together. I like how even with her brother, Ileana is calculated enough to make sure she's only being surface level. In a game of I Spy, she's going to pick literally the first thing she sees. She's always been this way. Once again, if there's any character that needed a refresh, it is Colossus. He's still carrying this Krakoan baggage. Ilyana tries to soothe him. One can't keep living in the past. She mentions Belasco and her lack of a childhood, which will pay off expertly later in this issue. St. Petersburg, Russia. I like Peter stopping for some hava. He hasn't had any in a while. He's still not one to talk, and she matches his energy. These siblings are fun to watch. The two of them are attacked by mermaids. They take Magik into the water. They keep grabbing at her, and I like the attention to detail that she can't respond to them. She'll get a mouthful of water. But how do the mermaids talk? Are they not getting mouthfuls of water? I get the water goes into their mouths and out through the gills, but will they still be able to talk? They must, as they always do, but that's a thought I hadn't had until now. Magik comes up for some air. She heads back down and takes out a mermaid with a raft sword, one of the two options for a pickaxe she has in Fortnite. She comes back up for some more air and asks Colossus to give her a rope. He thinks it's to pull her up, but she has other plans. I like how she knows enough magic spells that she has access to non-verbal ones and takes out all the mermaids. Klosh is upset that he thought he lost her, but there wasn't a time to discuss the entire plan. Also, he's a bit slow. They come across a Banik. He informs them that they are up against the Immortal, a character named the legal department must have loved to clear. Marvel's the Immortal. The Immortal is making deals with the magic folk, and once the siblings are taken care of, they won't have to live in hiding anymore, which is a bit odd in the Marvel universe where people of all types and sizes exist on the surface level. Is a mermaid that much more to ask about? They are directed to a nearby church. Colossus makes the poor decision to guard the front, like, okay, pal. Magik goes inside to look for a relic that will help them locate the immortal. There's a cloaked old man who is quick to bind Magik, and Colossus finally comes in. But he's too late as Magik falls down into a portal, which has to cost Colossus and me a bit of anxiety as the last time you witnessed her going into a portal, she came back aged by 7 years. I want the next issue now, please. Like she has to be okay though, right? Okay, so quick reviews. Storm, Mightiest Mutant number 2. I really like Storm and Wanda hanging out. Wanda is trying to guide Storm to avoid this upcoming Mystic War. A lot of fun seeing Storm has a slew of mannequins wearing her favorite outfits and costumes. Wanda gets some big points from him for naming all of Storm. Um, Wanda gets some big points from me for naming all of Storm's magic friends: Stephen Strange, Jericho Drum, and Ilyana Rasputin. I also like how she calls them by their people names. Storm's also wearing a very comfy black casual outfit that looks nice and comfy. Does seem like Storm isn't quite prepared for this upcoming war, but I'm sure she'll get there, or maybe some of her friends can help her out. Logan, Black, White, and Blood 3. Three short stories where Logan's slicing and dicing goons. I really like the Phil Noto third story. Spider-Man Meals to Astonish. I bought this for the Peach Momoko Magic and Penny Parker variant cover. I was pretty happy with the Test Kitchen story by writer Paul Eschachbach, artist EJ Sue, the letter VC's Joe Sabino. Iron Man wrecks Anna's food truck, so he offers her a job, and as one does, she's preparing a meal for him and a non-date with Emma Frost. A very nice story, and I do like these two together. 20 the end 2994. This is a real mess of a comic that I probably should stop reading, but we're just one issue to go. Nova 299, who is our Logan living through 299, is there. He doesn't do much. Our Jean Grey shows up, is hassled by Strange 299. But House of M Wanda takes her down. We hop to different planets. There's a Spider Woman 29 that I didn't know about. Oh yeah. Planet of the Apes versus Fantastic Four 2. Fantastic Four are captured by the apes but are released, and Doom is up to something. Hulk smashes everything 4. Hulk finally fights some familiar faces: Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man. The next comes along Black Panther, Spider-Man, the Parker one, Thor, Scarlet Witch, Wasp, Captain America, Thing, Invisible Woman, Black Widow, Natasha one, Squirrel Girl, Human Torch, and Hawkeye, the boy one. There's two characters I don't recognize. One looks like DC's Creeper, and the other one looks like Aaron Stark, the Machine Man, but in his next wave jacket. Issue ends with Hulk splitting the Earth in two, so that's not ideal. Next week's comics, pretty big load. We have Ultimate Wolverine 15, X-Men 27, Cyclops 2 that has some type of demonic zombie magic in it. Would have been nice to have known Magic was going to show up at all in this series. I would have just pre-ordered them. Inferno Hulk 5, see if there's any X-Men references. Sorcerer Supreme 4, see if there's any Madeline Pryor references. X-Men of Apocalypse 3, which must be on a bi-monthly schedule. And then Black Panther Intergalactic 4 with the Wakandan X-Foes. And then Wade Wilson Deadpool 2, which should have killer clowns. So the top 10 X comics of 2026 thus far, X-Men United 1. I mean, it has Kitty Pryde and a purple dragon-shaped alien in it. And Magic. Oh no, not all three of them, but two and a half of them. Um Magic Colossus 2, Moonstar 1, Avengers Volume 9, 34. At number 5, Generation X 23 1, Sorcerer Supreme 3, Wolverine Volume 8, 17. At number 8, X-Men Volume 7, 26, 9, Uncanny X-Men Volume 6, 24, and Iceman Omega rounding out our list at 10. So thank you everyone so much for watching or listening. You can follow me on most socials at JackalsIII. I'm gonna post the Ultimate X-Men video, and well, I guess they're both technically videos, to the podcast socials at S&FwM on and spelt out on Instagram and uh Blue Sky. I'm trying to use Instagram more. It seems like I'm getting some people. Oh, that reminds me. Hey, if you're not subscribed on YouTube, if you would, I lost a subscriber, and I'm sure it was just a bot, but I don't know. It was at 640, and I wouldn't mind if we get to 641. Just, a little bit more. Or everyone who watches can subscribe, and then that would be very fantastic and uncanny. Um, and so, and you can follow my reviews for these issues, Adam, and then random other things I post about on the home of the podcast, shadowandflame.com. Nope, shadowandflamewithmagic.com. Um, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much, and I will talk to you next time. All right, everyone. Bye.